Hello survivors and welcome to a Walking Dead Road to Survival video, and as you can see we have got an exclusive ascendable character in the season store for season 6. It was delayed for quite a few days, but he is finally here. It is Earl Sutton. He is a tough character and he is a disarm. This is what he looks like as a 5-star, and he's bald. But as a 6-star he looks actually pretty decent in terms of what he looks like. He's got a really nice visual design. It looks kind of cool. I like that. He looks awesome. Now we'll look at his stats. He's got 1,839 attacks, so pretty reasonable, but nothing spectacular when it comes to his attack. 1,514 defense, so reasonably low defense, and 2,055 HP, so pretty high HP. As said before, he is a tough character and his role is support, so when you look back at those stats, it kind of reflects that sort of role. If he was a damage dealer, I mean, you've got to consider Leon last season only had 100 more damage than he did as a damage dealer, so you've got to be fairly happy with the sort of stat balance that Earl has here. And we'll look at his adrenaline rush. It is called Swift Shooting. There isn't much to look at here. As you can see, I don't even have to expand it. He has got a 66 AP rush, so actually pretty quick. Deal 3 attacks of 150% damage, 450% total to one enemy. Simple as that, not really much to it. It's not a real big damage dealing rush. It does play into the rest of his kit, which we're going to look at in a second, but in terms of how powerful this is just straight up, it isn't that powerful by itself, but potentially it could get better. We'll look at his active skill and his stun and AP gain. It has an initial cooldown of 2, stun one enemy for 2 turns. This character gains 35% AP. Now the biggest issue with 35% AP gain is he's got 66 AP rush, so he doesn't actually get that much AP at all compared to someone who has a higher, rush cost. If he had 76, he'd be gaining more AP, for instance. I think when he's got 66 AP, he kind of needs to just gain that 50% basically, get one attack for that next rush. Now, where this character obviously is really important is he is going to be the very first free-to-play specialist disarm, which I was calling for in season 2. We're now in season 6. This was needed a long time ago. Drastically needed a long time ago. He is a disarm. Can't complain too much about that. And I would say 100%, if you do not have a disarm, he will do the job. You have to pick this guy up. I cannot tell you how important it is to have a disarm versus not having a disarm. I've got 2 regions. One has a disarm, the other does not. And it is so noticeable between the 2 regions in terms of just pure attacking power in rates. Now, he does not have an attached weapon, and this is where it can get interesting. If you already have a double attack weapon crafted, that can be used by Earl. And the great thing about that is the fact that his 3 attacks of 150% can actually deal 6 attacks with his rush, because each one of those individual attacks can double attack, and the second double attack can hit for 150% of the base damage. So it's another buff on top. The damage output can be actually quite high. It wouldn't be 900%, so it'd be closer to like 1,100% if all those double attacks hit, which is very unlikely, but if you're attacking 3 times, you're probably going to double attack once or twice. Now, I'm honestly going to say that while this character isn't game-changing in terms of his rush, disarm is really important, and personally, I would have 100% been fine with a support character that had no damage on their rush if they had disarm. That's how desperately disarm was needed. This character is going to do quite a bit of damage if you gear him correctly. He has pretty decent base attack. If you mod him offensively, he's already got reasonably decent stats in terms of defense stats. You're going to have to put crit on him. You're going to have to obviously put crit on his weapon. I would say you want to have double attack on his weapon as well, just so he hits those double attacks on his basic attacks and hits as many on his rush as possible. This guy could be actually pretty good. Now, there's one major flaw in this character. While I think the rush could have been a little bit stronger, obviously, I think the biggest issue I've got with him is the fact that he's tough. We've got no Generation 2 tough teams or range teams that we can put him on. Free-to-play's main avenue within Generation 2 is Michelle Leader, Donnie, and now Piper. These are the attacking characters that we've been given as options. The majority of our other characters, your Erics, your Douglases, all these other characters that we've had in Generation 2 are all defensive. So they can't go with Earl Sutton, and Earl Sutton is definitely not a defense character. Disarm is one of the best attacking specials, so you want him on an attack team. So it's as if it's forced off trait to go with Michelle to nerf Earl for some reason. Unless he's the start of something for free to play to be able to get tough characters for offense teams, it's basically like saying you need to use your Generation 1 characters to be able to get the most out of Earl in terms of leader skill and in terms of team synergy. I think this is a big miss. He should have been an alert character or a fast character or had 60 or less AP. If you consider Harper has got 58 AP and so has Bruce, and the power of their rushes in comparison to Earl's, the reason why these characters are so good is you can use them on any team and they'll still get their rushes turn 3. With 66 AP, even with an AP weapon, Earl needs to have an AP bonus from the leader to have any chance of getting his rush. And like I said, because Michelle is not going to give Earl any leader bonus, he's not going to be fully usable on a Michelle attack team as he should be. There needs to be an actual team that's given to free to play that makes sense. Because right now, if you've got all the actual free to play characters together, you couldn't really make that great an attack team. You'd have to use luck from your war wheels, you'd have to use a lot of fortune from these other areas, and that isn't a way to build free-to-play teams. That being said, all in all, I am actually pretty excited about using this character just based on the potential of his rush with the double attacks. The fact that he disarms as well is really important. And because of that, on this region where I do not have a disarm, he's going to be an instant claim for me. Just because I desperately need a disarm on this region, even if I use Michelle leader and I have Sandy and I have fast and alert characters mainly, my attack team on this region is kind of a joke anyway because I don't have a disarm. I had to use confounding Yumiko for a very long time. It did the job to a certain extent, but Earl is definitely going to be that needed pickup. I would say if you don't have a disarm, he should be an instant purchase for you as well, and he should definitely be prioritized over Shiva if you have limited season tokens. But that's the end of my video, guys. This is Earl Sutton. Do tell me what you think about him as a 6-star. Thank you very much for tuning in, and as always, keep on surviving, guys. Keep on surviving.